Hi everyone, welcome to my messy library. My name is Nikki and this is my first video, if you couldn't tell. So I thought I'd start off with the Booktube Newbie tag since I am obsessed with watching these videos, and I thought it would be a good way to introduce myself. So I have the questions written down right here, so if I'm looking down, I apologize. So why did I start this channel? The reason I started this channel is because in my real life, I don't have too many bookish friends. I'm pretty much an introvert, so I don't go out very often with friends or anything, so I'm not really discussing books with people. And I really wanted to have some engagement with other people who love books just as much as I do. I also wanted to do something a little more creative in my free time, so I thought this would be a great way. And I've thought about doing it for forever, but my crippling shyness has prevented me for quite some time from doing it. What are some fun and unique things I can bring to BookTube? I guess I would say my age, although I don't think that that's so unique anymore. Back when I first started watching BookTube, there weren't too many creators my age. I love watching the younger creators, but sometimes I feel old watching those videos, so I've been really happy to see all the older creators, and I don't want to say older like old. I know we're not old, but we are older than the majority of the booktubers that I see. What am I most excited for about this channel? Really to engage with other people, to get out of my comfort zone. I am very much an introvert and it's very hard for me to talk in public. So I thought that this would be a great way to do that. Doing something that I love. What challenges in starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think a lot of that has to do with just how, I guess, awkward that I am and how introverted I am, and talking to a camera is incredibly awkward. So that, and I guess the technical side of it. What do I love about reading? I love the escape. I think that's everybody's answer, but when I was younger, when I was in elementary school, I had a very hard time being verbal in public. It was very hard for me to talk out loud ever, and I had a lot of issues in school in the early years because of that. When I discovered books, it was an easy way to escape. It was an easy way to avoid having to talk in public. So obviously I learned later on how to talk, but I was, back in those days, they didn't really talk about, being on the spectrum or anything like that. So when you had tendencies like that, it was looked upon pretty negatively, and they just assumed something was wrong with me and I just didn't want to talk. So I was in my mid-30s when I finally had a healthcare professional talk to me about those tendencies that I have of not wanting to talk. So it has always been an escape. It's still an escape. What book or series got me into reading? I can still remember in 3rd grade, we were reading The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White. I fell in love with that book, and we weren't allowed to bring it home. We were only reading a chapter at a time. And I remember getting picked up from school, and my uncle asked me what was wrong, and I told him that I really wanted to read this book, but I wasn't allowed to bring it home. So he went and took me to the bookstore, and we got the book. I devoured it, fell in love, and I was an avid reader from that day on. The Roald Dahl books, George's Marvelous Medicine, Matilda. As I got older, The Boxcar Children, Goosebumps. When I was in middle school, Agatha Christie was my jam. I loved Agatha Christie. I still love Agatha Christie. When did I start reading? I think I was like 4 or 5 when I started reading. Where do I read? Everywhere. I take a book with me everywhere. I always have one in my purse, and I always have an audiobook going in the car. And having a book in your purse is very convenient for when you are at the park with the kids and you want to avoid talking to all the other mommies at the park. What kinds of books do I like to read? I think I have a pretty varied reading life. I like classics, I love mysteries, I love fantasy, romance, historical fiction, history, science books, all kinds of stuff. The only thing I think I don't really ever read is poetry. But maybe that'll change with this channel. Who knows? And then the last question is, what does my book collection look like? You can see some of it behind me. My shelves are pretty messy. I have quite a few. I'll probably show my shelves at some point, but I love them. To me, you know, it's not an aesthetic setup, but I love my bookshelves and I love sitting in here in this room. I'm fortunate to have a space that I made into a library. So it's one of my favorite places in my house. But thank you if you've watched this video. I hope to make more videos regarding all the stuff I'm reading every month and every week. And I really appreciate you stopping by.